for a high school project, a documentary.
Okay, do you have a permit to shoot in Glendale?
We do not.
Okay.
Yeah, I do, sir.
Do you?
Yeah, it's right here. See, it's called the Constitution of the United States of America. And under the First Amendment, it says, well, I'll read it for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And according to all of the legal precedent, we believe that we are acting entirely within our rights as journalists to record the activities of police on the street here, sir.
Okay, and my question to you then is, are you going to use this documentary to, are you going to sell it to somebody?
I'm not in a position where I'm required to answer that question, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good then. Have a nice night.
Thank you, sir.
That happened.
Yeah, so we got not that we needed it. Yeah, we got an extra audio track on that one.
He sounded good as well.
Oh, nice.
And that's what we call gold.
Do you know the video that I have on my channel called Is Lieutenant Dyack a good cop or a bad cop? Turns out he's a bad cop.
Oh, really?
He ended up sending me a letter that says the actions of our officers were entirely appropriate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have it in my trunk somewhere, and I need to do a little follow-up.
That's really funny. So he didn't even... So he didn't even, we thought he was a good one.
Oh, are we getting waved through or are we getting stopped?
How you doing?
Evening, officer.
Had any alcoholic beverages to drink tonight?
Am I legally obligated to answer that question?
Nah, probably not. Can I see your driver's license?
Yes, you may.
Where are you headed?
Am I legally obligated to answer that question, sir?
No.
Something like that cost.
You live in New Mexico?
A little bit.
I do.
A little bit.
Okay. Leave this on your dashboard till you get to
more
our
than-
checkpoint. You guys drive safely and have a safe weekend, okay?
Have a nice evening, officer.
Thank you.
Get out of here. I just have a question about the effectiveness of these checkpoints. Can you tell me how many people have been given citations tonight for drunk or impaired driving versus for registration issues or driver's license issues? Even a round number, how many people have been caught for drunk driving? Okay, well thank you, sir. I appreciate it. That's all we need tonight. Sure.
Have a good night.
You too. Oh, he's being followed by a tow truck already. He must be wasted. Pulled over or something?
Yeah.
Well, that's screwed over, right? What happened? You mind telling me the story?
My car seat is expired.
And they just took your car. Can I interview you about that real quick for my YouTube
sorry,
channel?
We are running.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I'm really sorry to hear that. And,
Okay.
we're just trying to get stories of people who are getting screwed over here.
It's very problem over there.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Good luck.
She's freaking pregnant.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, look, dude, I'm not looking for a fight. I know you guys want to do a project. That's cool. I got no problem with that. Is this like the constitutionality of DUI checkpoints?
That's part of it. Yes, sir.
What else? Come on, man. Help me out here. Help me understand where you guys are coming from.
All right. Well, really what's most important to me in my activism is getting people to assert the fact that we are free, beautiful, independent human beings, and there are certain rights incumbent with that.
Okay.
The most important one is that you own yourself, right? As a human being, nobody else owns you, right? You're not a slave. I mean, we'd like to think, at least in America, but then, the average American spends half the year working for the government, which takes over half of our income on average, so it becomes kind of debatable at that point. The second thing is the non-aggression principle. It's morally wrong to ever initiate force against someone or to forcibly impede the exercise of their rights.
Okay.
So a checkpoint like this is an example of the restriction of freedom of movement. If you have freedom to travel, it's not a privilege, that's a right. And for someone to say, well, you have to have your papers, or you have to have this, you know, just to be on the road, or you have to be stopped in order to get on the freeway, we believe that that's an infringement of simple freedom of movement and the right to travel. But there are a lot of other implications to this, because if you own yourself, then any use of force against you when you're simply exercising your rights is morally wrong. And that means that everything government does is premised on the immorality of taxation, right?
Okay.
What's your definition of theft?
Somebody taking something from me without permission?
Okay, but if it's if you give them permission and they have a gun to your head, that's not really permission, right?
No, that's still a robbery.
That's still a robbery. So is taxation theft?
You know, that's a fine line, and in my personal opinion, I could give you opinion. My professional opinion, I'm going to say no comment. 'Cause
Well,
I really can't. I know I understand where you're coming from. I really do.
Well, I really...
But now here's my question
Okay.
for you. So the guy who takes his civil rights, or whatever you want to call them, and owning his own person, goes to the Cheesecake Factory, hammers down about 5 Jack Daniels, then comes out here and slams into my family, impeding my rights to raise my family.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm out here to try and stop, is these guys drinking and driving like idiots.
No, and I think drunk driving is a serious problem. I've aside from on my own lawn, I've never driven drunk before.
Okay.
And I really take it as a serious, you know, public threat.
Right.
But what you're doing here is creating more of a safety hazard. You have cops driving in and out of traffic. You have people that are now scrambling to avoid the checkpoint because you put up signs that do warn them at the last minute.
I'll give you a little bit of insight on that one. Out of all the checkpoints I've done this year, which is I think is either 8 or 9, this is the first time where I don't have people doing U-turns, stupid stuff. People are going through this checkpoint in a safe manner, and to me, that's huge.
So normally it's unsafe.
Normally, we get people who will do unsafe acts, and that's why we put enforcement on it to make sure that they're just, you know, they're trying to avoid something because they don't want to go through it because it's a waste of their time in their opinion, or whatever. But there are times also when a drunk driver will do something that's very unsafe and could hurt himself or someone else. And that, my big thing is, if somebody chooses to do that, that's on them. So it's when they impact a family that had nothing to do with it.
Well, let me say, sir, when you said that you have a difference between your personal opinion and your professional opinion, I would hope that there really is not that much of a difference. I would hope that you're able to see that.
But I can't give you my personal opinion while I'm in uniform and while I'm being recorded.
And I understand that there are restrictions on your speech that you have voluntarily accepted in taking this job, but you understand the principles of the Nuremberg trial back from World War II.
I get that, and
you've heard that argument
I'm
before.
not a Nazi.
No, and I am not saying that is not what I'm saying.
I know that's not what you're saying.
It is, you are responsible as an individual for your actions, regardless of your legal situation.
There are times when I look at those kind of things and go, God, I could never do that. Okay? I could never do what those guys did. I know that for a fact. There are times when enforcing the law isn't my favorite thing to do, but it is the law, and I've taken an oath to uphold the law, the United States and California and the city of Glendale.
And how is that law determined?
By the people who write it, by the people who voted in.
You mean the politicians?
No? Do you vote?
I try not to.
Okay, well,
that's very rarely worth someone's time.
And here's my thing, okay? I vote so that I can say, hey, at least I had my say. Whether it's counted or not, I get that. I've heard that argument too.
Well, do you think politicians are really accountable to the people or to their sponsors?
Again, that's a discussion I would have with you over a dinner or beer or something.
All right. Well,
business card?
Hold on. I'll give you one of mine. I'll give him one of mine. And you know what, sir? If you'd be willing to have this conversation off the record,
I'll trade you.
Or on the record, out of uniform, I would love to do that and have an honest, open conversation about these issues with you. And I think there are a lot of cops that wouldn't even have the courage to have this kind of exchange. And that's a big part of the problem. And you might be a well-intentioned cop, but when there are so many police officers that when they commit horrendous crimes in uniform, and you know this happens, and you know because it makes your job worse, it makes your job more dangerous when people don't trust the police, because there is a system that protects them from liability, and you're a part of that system. So it's hard to say that even a well-intentioned cop is a good cop when you're part of a system that protects bad cops.
I can understand where you're coming from on that.
Well, sir,
Absolutely.
I hope we can have this conversation. Really, if you want to give me a call anytime.
Adam, my name's Larry.
Larry.
And I will give you a call.
Nice to meet you. You can avoid it if you turn to the next light.
Okay.
Turn at the next light. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. You can avoid it if you turn at the next light. Do not consent to a search. Do not consent to a search. You're very welcome. Do not consent to a search. You can avoid it if you turn at the next light.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Damn, it's like blocks and blocks.
Yeah, dude, it just keeps going. The gratitude is
Yeah,
beautiful.
everybody's like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Turn right. Just turn right or left up here.
Are you at the light?
They're like 3 blocks down, so just go right here.
And then what way? What? Up to the
They're
right?
straight 3 blocks.
No, I see them when I got out, but if I go right, then
If you go right, you're good.
what's on the right?
Oh, I don't know. Not cops.
I'm trying to get the freeway, that's why.
Left then.
Left?
Yeah.
The Nazis had checkpoints.
Yeah, they did.
Police state we're living in.
Yeah.
Yes. Make a right.
Sir, this is your last warning.
Whoa, whoa! Hey!
And this is Law and Order.